Hi, I'm Dr. Deepa. Welcome to my channel Together and Fun. Today we will look into the poem An Elementary School Classroom in Slum by Stephen Spender and its analysis. Sir Stephen Harold Spender was an English poet, novelist, and essayist whose work concentrated on themes of social injustice and the caste struggle. Spender also had profound intellectual workings with the world of art, including Picasso. He was awarded the Golden Pen Award in 1995. In this poem, Stephen Spender presents the sad face of an elementary school in a poor country. The children are poverty-stricken, their lessons are what they do not need, and their teacher is a greedy businessman. Far, far from the gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn around the pallor. The tall girl with the way down head, the paper-skimming boy with rat's eyes, the stunned unlucky hire of twisted bones reciting a father's gnarled disease. His lessons from his desk at back of the dim class, one unnoted sweet and young. His eyes live in a dream of squirrels' game in the tree room other than this. On sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome riding all cities, belled, flowery tireless valley. Open-handed map awarding the world its world, and yet for these children, these windows, not this world, our world, where all their futures painted with a fog, a narrow street sealed in with a lead sky, far, far from rivers, capes, and stars of words. Surely Shakespeare is wicked, and map a bad example, with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal, for lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes, from fog to endless night. On their slag heap, these children wear skin peeped through by bones and spectacles of steel with mented glass, like bottle bits on stones. All of their time and space are foggy slum. So bold their maps with slum as big as doom, unless governor, teacher, inspector, visitor. This map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs. Break, oh break, till they break the town, and show the children green fields and make their world run azure on gold sands, and let their tongues run naked into books, the white and green leaves open. History is theirs, whose language is the sun. Now let's analyze the poem. Far, far from gusty waves, these children faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. The slum exists far away from the seas and oceans and rivers, where rich and prosperous people live. Prosperity is found in cities, and cities generally stand on the coastal regions of the world. As the slum is away from the gusty waves of the sea, they are far away from seas too. When weeds are rootless, they are dead and decayed. Similarly, the slum children have their hair without being groomed or nourished properly. Their hair tangled on their faces without any order. The tall girl with a way down head, the paper-seeming boy with rat's eyes, the stunned unlucky hire of twisted bones reciting a father's gnarled disease. His lessons from his desk, at back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young. His eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game in the tree room other than this. There is possibly more than one reason for the tall girl's had been weighed down. In the first place, she, being big and responsible, is burdened by her own terrible life. Secondly, the girl, being tall, is ashamed of studying with small kids. The boy is as thin as paper due to malnutrition and poor upbringing. A rat's eyes are always restless. They are always in search of something and look for dangers. The boy here is also searching for something other than the attractions inside the classroom. The boy's growth was slowed by his poor conditions. Poverty and malnutrition have tortured his body and spirit. He looks like a living skeleton. The boy has nothing at hand to be lucky. What he has inherited from his father is a cruel disease. Poverty is his companion. A skeleton-like figure is what he is. Hunger gleams in his eyes and helplessness echoes in his heart. The unlucky boy is suffering from the same gnarled disease that his father too was suffering from. When asked to recite his lessons in the class, the boy struggles to do so due to this ailment. The possible gnarled disease of the unlucky boy is either polio or uneven growth of bones or even tuberculosis. Our saw cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized doom riding all cities, belt, flowery, tireless valley. The picture of Shakespeare, the painting of cloudless morning sky, the pictures of the tall buildings of the world in a canvas, and the beautiful Austrian tireless valley, rich with its belt flowers, adorn the walls of the classroom. There is a picture of the cloudless morning sky on the wall of the classroom. The children dislike that picture because it's unlike their own slum's sky, which is never cloudless. The classroom is constructed with donations from visitors. Among them, there lies a beautiful picture of the tall buildings of the developed cities of the world. The donations provide a glimpse of some world to the students, but not their world. Spender describes the tireless valley as beautiful. The valley is decorated with the bell flowers. Open-handed map, awarding the world its world, and yet for these children, these windows are not this map, their world, where all their futures painted with a fog. The map is a symbol of discrimination. Its distribution of the world is uneven and partial. It allots the rich and prosperous lands and cities to the rich, while the poor are given the wastelands and slums. The world that is seen through the window is bleak, dark, and dusty. Yet, the children prefer this dark world outside because the interior of the classroom is more hated by them than the world outside. It implies that the future holds little promise for them, and fate has made out a bleak future for them. These children do not hold any prospect of a bright future and are thus meant to live in such a condition forever. Open-handed means generous. The map inside the classroom generously allots rich world for the rich and slums for the poor. Even though the map is generous, it discriminates between the privileged and the unprivileged. A narrow street sealed in with a lead sky, far, far from rivers, caves, and stars of words. A dark and polluted sky closes in the streets of the slum. The slum is an industrial area with many factories scattered together. The emission of dark smoke paints the sky lead. Places near capes and rivers are places prosperity because with harbors and seaports, a cape is exposed to trade and business, while rivers render the land fertile and people rich. Stars of words are those great men of letters, writers who inspire people with their written output. With stars of words, a people can prosper, drawing inspiration to fight and soar ahead of all difficult times. Surely Shakespeare is wicked, the map a bad example, with ships and sun and love, tempting them to steal, for lives that slyly turn into their cramped holes, from fog to endless night. Shakespearean stories are full of fortunate, beautiful, happy, romantic characters and magical places and palaces. When these stories are told in the classroom, the children are attracted to these stories and try to imitate these heroic characters. In this attempt, they are forced to steal and then are consequently caught. For this, they blame Shakespeare. The map inside the class contains colorful markings of cities, while dull and dark blots represent the slum of these children and hence a bad example. Far away from seas and oceans, the children have not seen a real ship or real sea. They are also tempted by the brightness of the sky and the love in the stories they have heard. The huts of the poor slum dwellers are very small, with many members and no space to move around. The life of the poor slum children remain uncertain with all their inherited diseases and malnourishment. With no hopes for the future, they lead a miserable life inside their small huts. The slum children do not have any hope for their future. For them, their future is like a fog painting, transient and uncertain. On their slag heap, these children, with mended glass like bottle bits on stones. All of their time and space are foggy slum, so blot their maps with slum as big as doom. Poverty has made its toll on the slum children. Lack of proper food and polluted atmosphere have made them look like heap of bones and flesh carelessly arranged like a heap of waste. The slum children have fragile build. They are so skinny that their bones are almost visible on the surface of their skin. It is to be supposed that slum children, being part of an industrial slum, are engaged in some sort of manufacturing for which they have to wear protective glasses with steel rims. The protective glasses have been overused and transferred from older generations, and therefore they are scratched and mended. Unless governor, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs. When there are visitors, the doors and windows of the classroom will remain open. There will be light and better air passage in the classroom. When there are no visitors, the windows and doors will remain shut, and the children will not be able to see the dark sky through the windows. At this time, the children have nowhere else to look at than the map. They see their own slum marked in the map. Catacombs are underground burial places. They are dark and confined with hundreds of dead bodies resting eternally. The classroom deserves to be called a catacomb because it is also dark with children of half dead bodies and half alive minds. Break, oh break, till the break the town, and show the children to green fields and make their world. Run azure on gold sands and let their tongues run naked into books and white and green leaves open. History theirs whose language is the sun. The poet wants his readers to break the windows of the classroom that shut out their freedom in the classroom. The windows remain always closed and restrict light from entering the classroom, making it a catacomb for the children. The poet fears that the children will grow up to become antisocial elements and break the town. He expects to stop this unfortunate occurrence by breaking the classroom and its windows that create these antisocials. Gold sands refer to the sands of deserts, while azure is the color of nature in spring season. Nothing grows in the desert. The world of the poor, children is also like the desert sand. The irony in the expression is the impossibility of spring in the desert land. The poet is talking about a situation in which the children have access to the beautiful world that they have never seen in their life. Here, in the classroom, they learn what they do not love to read, while in the world outside, they learn without restrictions. According to the poet, history is made by those people who speak the language of the sun. The language of the sun is its warmth and light that make life possible. People can speak this unique language by being as warm, lively, and life-giving as the sun. The poem is written in a symbol style with the use of poetic devices and images which convey the narrator's feeling of sympathy and anger. The images convey the poverty, hunger, and neglect of state schools in the slum. The poetic devices used in the poem are metaphor, simile, imagery, pun, symbol, and repetition. Here is your reference for what metaphor, simile, imagery, pun, symbol, and repetition are. The poem touches upon themes of social injustice and class inequality. It questions the value of education in a slum. It exposes the widespread neglect of these children who are uncared for, like rootless weeds. It gives the readers a description of malnourished children with pale faces, stunt growth, and twisted bones. But the poem does not dwell upon pessimism. It highlights the role of educators and the more privileged class in society to liberate the children and infuse them with human creativity. What do you think is the color of sour cream? Why do you think the poet has used this expression to describe the classroom walls? Until we meet tomorrow, by this time, keep thinking. Feel free to drop in your answers and comments. If you are watching this channel for the first time, subscribe. If you like the content, click the like button and share. If you want to watch more of these videos, enable the bell icon. Thank you.